manai sheverachim gam yachad hine matovu manai sheverachim gam yachad hine matovu manai sheverachim gam yachad hine matovu manai sheverachim gam yachad hine Mocha Bahilim Adonai Mikamocha Nehedar Bakodesh Lo Ra Tehilot Osef Eleh Lo Ra Tehilot Osef Michamocha Baelim Adonai Mikamocha Nehedar Bakodesh Lo Ra Tehilot Osef Eleh Lo Ra Tehilot Osef Ayam lifnei Moshe Miriam Ze Elianu ve'amru Adonai lo le'olam va'ed Michamocha Baelim Adonai Mikamocha Nehedar Bakodesh
Welcome, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. So good. I mean, what would we do without you, Ella? I just don't know. All right, so my friends, tonight we are going to start with a simple song to start us out. You really don't know the words, but I'm looking for them anyway. All right, the words are on page 339. But they're so simple at the bottom of the page. Hava Nashira, let us sing.
Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, let us sing. Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing.
So, my friends, tomorrow morning on the warmest February Shabbat ever on record, Chase Berman is going to become a bar mitzvah. Yay, Chase Berman. So in anticipation of that celebration, it is my pleasure to invite up some members of his family to help us. Where's my list of who's coming up? Who's coming up from your family? Oh, great. Okay, come on up. So Chase and his parents are going to help us with our candle lighting, which can be found on page 2. It's a lightsaber. It really is. You just press the button. Power button. It's really cool. That means you'd like the force to be with you. What has happened to our force? It's Lizzie's fault, if anyone is wondering. Yeah, you use a match.
Wait, you turn off and back on. That's always my power off.
It's only because I can't use a match that we need to do. Beautiful. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. All right, Chase, how about grabbing that chalice for us? The beautiful Kiddush cup? Yes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Peri Hagafen. All right, and then will you unwrap a little challah for us? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Beautiful. Our ancestors knew that this time together was so special. And so one of the ways that they would talk about it was sometimes thinking of Shabbat as being not just a regular night of the week, but as if we're welcoming a Shabbat bride into our midst. And so we sing their words welcoming the Shabbat bride on page 20 with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Shamo bezachor bedibbur echad, hishbianu el amichad. Adonai echad, shemo echad, leshemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Boi v'shalom hateret ba'alav, gam b'simcha u'tzolah. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Hanei Shabbat Nekabela. Hanei Shabbat Nekabela.
On page 29, there is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nevarech, let us bless and call each other to worship with the words of the Baruch Hu, and I ask you to please rise.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach,
We read together on the bottom of 31. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. And we join in words of Shema on 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. So earlier this week, I received an email from someone who had attended a service here at the congregation and who wasn't Jewish. And he wrote me to say that he had never been in a Jewish sacred space before. But he appreciated so much having been here for the first time because he said it reminded him of one of his favorite Christian teachings. He said, you know that Jesus taught, you shall love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your strength, and with all your being. And in fact, while Jesus may have taught that, he taught it because he got it from us. And so this is something that we say every time we come together in prayer. And tonight, actually, a number of our students have been preparing to lead us in this prayer. And so we have some of our students who have already become B'nai Mitzvah who have come back, and you guys are so amazing. We love when you return. And we have some students who are upcoming, who are preparing to be B'nai Mitzvah. So if you are one of those students and you feel comfortable leading us in Ve'ahavta, which are those words in Hebrew, I would invite you up to the bima. Etz Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'v'shartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu la'totafot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. From 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together, and singing as our ancestors sang at the shores of the sea on page 40, Nichamocha. On the top of 43, God, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. We sing those thoughts in Hebrew with the words of Ahashki Venu on the other side of the page, asking God to spread a shelter over us wherever we may go.
Ahashki Venu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'Hamidenu Shomreinu V'Chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'Hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'Hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chayim.
So tonight we have some friends who are with us from Eureka High School and also Maplewood Richmond Heights High School. And before we started the service, they had a little bit of an introduction to Judaism, and I realized that I forgot to tell you that a lot of the service is in Hebrew. I should have said that. My bad. So, sorry, there is going to be more in Hebrew. But the good news is this: a lot of us don't know Hebrew. Actually, when we say these prayers, sometimes we say the words because they just seem familiar to us. But really, there are points in our service like this one that actually we just are told that we should say whatever in our hearts. So if you know these words, fabulous. Say them in Hebrew. If you want to say the words in English to yourself, you can do that too, or you can just say whatever it is that is on your mind. Because even the rabbis of our past understood that some days there would be together where there would be a whole lot of us who didn't speak Hebrew. And fortunately, God speaks lots and lots of languages. So on page 46, I'm going to ask you, if you will, to please rise. And if you know the Hebrew and you'd like to join in, you may do so. And if you just silently like to offer the prayer of your heart, you can do that as well. Adonai sefatai tiptach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel chasadim tovim, V'konei hakol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imot, Umevi geula livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an shemo ba'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mechakel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom melech, Melech memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshuam, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakom, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Please be seated. So if you wish, you can actually close your prayer book for a few moments. This next prayer that we do is one of the reasons that a lot of people come here. But the version that we're going to do tonight is one where you can just repeat after us. It's a prayer for healing where we think of all of those in our community, in our lives, our family, our friends who could use some healing prayers. We direct our thoughts and our hearts towards them.
Ilna Rafana La, Rafana La. Ilna Rafana La, Rafana La. Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
Help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
Ilna Rafana La, Rafana La Nu. clarify our mind.
Help clarify our mind.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our light.
Rejuvenate our light.
Ilna
Rafana la.
Rafana la. Ilna Rafana la.
Rafana la. So if there's a name you wish to share of someone who could use a little bit of healing, I'd invite you to do so at this time. We're thinking too tonight of Arlene Alper. We're thinking of Audrey and of Cindy, of Eric Ash, of Les Block and Ruth Block, of Glenn Figgis, of Carl Greenberg, of Nathan Levinson, of Drew Patchen, of Harriet Snyder and Daniel Trent and Lacey Weinstein, and all of those names we keep in our hearts. We pray for them. Al Na Rafan Allah. God, heal them, please.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights.
Throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey.
We celebrate the journey.
This precious gift of life.
This precious gift of life.
Ilna Rafana la. Rafana la nu. Ilna Rafana la. Rafana la nu. Ilna Rafana la. Rafana la nu. Say shalom, Bimroma. Say shalom, Bimroma. Uya ase shalom. Uya ase shalom. Uya ase shalom. Alleluia. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Im Roma. Oh, say shalom. Im Roma. Uya ase shalom. Uya ase shalom. Uya ase Aseh Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
So earlier this week, I was having a conversation with someone who had not been to Shabbat services in a very long time. And I said, you should really come sometime. And he said, well, what's it going to be like? Will there be a lot of music? I said, there will be a lot of music. And he said, are you going to teach stuff? And I said, yes, I will teach stuff. And I said, but when you come and I teach stuff, I can guarantee you that it's pretty much always going to fall into two categories. It is either going to be some sort of Jewish tradition or text that says, this is the way that we should live our lives, or it is going to be some sort of Jewish tradition or text that says, this is the way we should not live our lives. That's pretty much it. Except on those rare weeks where you have one teaching that's about how we should live our lives and one teaching that's about how we should not live our lives, and they're about the exact same thing, and somehow we need to decide. And this is one of those weeks. So first, I'm going to start with a Hasidic story. And this is a good one. It's one of my favorites. So this Hasidic story is usually known as the rabbi at the wedding. And in this story, it's imagining a wedding. You need to picture like Anna Tefka in your heads, right? So this is a Fiddler on the Roof kind of a wedding at a time when in Jewish communities, if there was a wedding, everyone was invited. Because we were told, Elu devarim she'ein lihem shi'or, that there are some things that everyone should be doing because they are so sacred to us that they're always a mitzvah, and one of them is rejoicing with the bride and groom. So when there was a wedding, everyone was welcome to come, and sometimes people would get special invitations. Big machers, like rabbis, might even be called from different communities invited to attend. So there is one of these big weddings in a town, kind of like Anna Tefka from Fiddler on the Roof. And a rabbi from a nearby town gets an invitation, and he's like, this will be great. I'm going to come. I'm going to rejoice with the bride and groom. And so he comes, and he's got, his donkey, and he's got his cart. And it takes him a little bit longer to get to the wedding than he expects it to take. So by the time he gets there, the wedding has already started. And he does not want to be rude. He doesn't want to, come in super late. So he just goes in, and he doesn't have time to put on his fancy clothes. So he goes into the wedding, and he's a little bit schmutzy. And the people are not exactly that excited to see him. I mean, they don't full-on kick him out, but everyone is kind of moving away from him. Some of them are like, oh, they're sort of giving him the side eye. They are not excited that he is there at the wedding, to the point that he starts feeling really kind of bad about himself, but also realizes that maybe this is a teachable moment, because that's what rabbis look for. So he goes back out to his cart with his donkey, and he gets the outfit that he was going to wear. And this outfit is awesome. It is like, the equivalent of whatever a tuxedo would have been in Anna Tefka for a rabbi. It is like this amazing coat, and it looks really great. It's kind of sparkly. It's very well made. And so he puts on this coat, and he takes a few moments and sort of gets the schmutz off his face. He goes back into the wedding, and everyone's like, oh, you must be the rabbi from the next town over. So wonderful to have you here. We're so delighted you're here. Come on in. Let's sit you at this table. Why don't you go to the buffet? And he's like, thank you, I will. And he goes to the buffet, and there is a tray of deviled eggs there, and he takes, they probably weren't called deviled eggs, but I'm talking about the schmucky little eggs, and he takes one of those eggs, and he goes, boop, and puts it right in his pocket. Gives a little schmush. Takes another egg, puts it right in his pocket. People are looking a little weird at him, and then he sees next on the buffet table, there's a big fish, like a big long trout, and he takes the whole thing, and he scoops it up, and he lifts open his coat, and he goes, this looks good, doesn't it? Nom, 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 nom. And he puts the fish into his coat. Nom, 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 nom. And now people are really freaking out, and they're like, what is this guy doing? And he said, oh, well, when I came into the wedding as I was, you didn't want me there. But when I came wearing my nice coat, you were so welcoming. So I figured that the real guest at the wedding was my coat. There are lots of different morals that you could get from this. They're all sort of variations on the theme, but let's just call this one, do not judge a book by its cover. But then we get our alternate teaching, which is the Torah portion this week. Those of you who come here every week, you know that for the most part, Torah portions, they tell the stories of our ancestor, they tell wonderful moral teachings, they teach us how to live our lives. But this week's Torah portion, as Chase has learned, is pretty much all about clothes. That's pretty much the gist of it. And specifically, it's about the clothes that the high priests used to wear. Now, because we have some guests, or maybe just for general knowledge, just want to take a brief pause and explain that the high priests, they're not exactly rabbis, they're not exactly priests like you would find in a church today. It's like somewhere in between. These are the people whose job it was to make sure that all of the worship was done correctly. So however you were trying to pray to God, that it was really done in exactly the right way. And so they were very, very important people. And so what Chase is going to read in his Torah portion tomorrow is all about the way that they would dress. And let me tell you, it was fancy schmancy. The way that they're supposed to dress, first it tells us that they have to have all of this gold. Wait, where's Noah? Noah. All right, so the gold that they're not going to use in your Torah portion next week when they build the golden calf. You should come back for that one. Next week they're going to build the golden calf. But this week they're taking some of their gold and they are hammering it into really, really thin sheets. And then they were taking those sheets and they're making that into thread. And they're using that solid gold thread and they're combining it with blue and with purple, and they're making these wonderful outfits, and they're going to combine wool and linen, which doesn't sound that awesome, except that in the Torah, everyone else is forbidden to wear wool and linen, so you know it is fancy if the priests are allowed to wear it and no one else can. And they have these hats that they wear, and they have jewels all over it. I mean, it is an incredible outfit. Because what the Torah seems to be telling us is that the clothes make the man. So what do we do with these two totally different teachings? What do we do on the one hand with a beautiful Jewish tradition that says you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You shouldn't say that you know who someone is just by what they're wearing and what they look like. And then we get our Torah, which is like, yeah, the most important people get the nicest clothes. They're going to look the best. You know, I would like to be able to say that the answer is just we should stick with a Hasidic teaching, right? We all want to be able to say that really the moral of the story is what's inside that matters. But I also want to just acknowledge, and this is certainly true for all the adults in the room, but especially when I look at our high schoolers and I look at our middle schoolers, and you all know, right, that you do care about what you look like on the outside. You do spend time thinking about the clothes that you put on and how important it is because you want to present yourself in a certain way. It's naive of us to say that, oh no, it doesn't matter at all what you dress like or what you look like, because we know that to most of us it does, and so we can't just deny it. But maybe the middle ground is not saying that you should just have a little bit of each. Maybe what the real answer is that the reason that it mattered so much in the Torah what Aaron and the priests wore, it wasn't because they were so fancy and they deserved the best stuff. It was because their job was so important. And God knew that they had to be reminded of the importance of that job, of the way that they appeared to others, of the way that they appeared to themselves at all times, so that they could recognize how important they were on the inside. If they forgot even for a moment just how sacred and critical their role was, then the entire people would be in danger. And in fact, there's a little bit of foreshadowing in the Torah portion, because when we talk about the idea that Aaron is going to dress in all these fancy ways, we're also told that two of his sons, Nadav and Abihu, they're going to dress like this way too. And for those of us who know the story well, we know that in just a few Torah portions, Nadav and Abihu are not going to be taking their job seriously. And even though they're wearing the fancy clothes, they're going to die because they don't take their job seriously enough. The Torah is trying to tell us that what we look like and how we present ourselves to the world does matter, because it reminds us that each of us has a job to do. And it doesn't matter if the job that you have is one that requires that you wear a white coat, or one that requires that you wear a police uniform. That whatever it is, you have to remember at all times that you have a role in this world. That you have a serious job to do, and that job is how you need to show yourself to each other and to yourself on the inside. so that none of us is ever thinking for a moment that what we do doesn't matter. Because as long as we can remember that task, then maybe our outsides and our insides will really reflect each other. Now, I will say that before the kids came up tonight, I wanted to tell you to look at their shoes, and I forgot to. But I will say that even for those of us who are in the older generations here, if you watch even the way that we look at the kids today and we're like, those kids today, what are they wearing? They care. And the way that they are dressing is actually a way that is presenting themselves to the world and saying, here's what matters to me. So let's take them seriously. Let's take ourselves seriously and recognize that if we can present ourselves to the world and to each other in the way that shows that we think that we have importance, then maybe we really will. Shabbat Shalom. So I'm going to ask you, if you will now, to please turn to page 282 and rise, and we will join together in the words of the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. On 287, may we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. So at this time in our service, we'll take a few moments now and recall with love the names of those taken from us in recent days. And our hearts go out to their families in sympathy as we recall their names: Susie Boretsky, Beverly Barron, and Marilyn Fox. We now recall the names of those, the anniversary of whose death occurs on this Shabbat, and whose names have been inscribed in the archives of our congregation or on the wall of honor for perpetual memorial: Helen Sternberg Ackerman, Sam Agatstein, Barry Alper, Albert Arndt, Isidore Auer, Phil Barron, Hannah Ruth Bender, Irvin Bettman Jr., Joseph Block, Rose Bloomberg, Sanford Bryn, Lillian Kaplan, Louis Dern, Irvin Dubinsky, Radine Dubinsky, Sarah Hallie Edison, Moses Ehrlich, Beverly Faber, Harry Fuchs, Marilyn Gale, Rose Gilbert, Harry Scheuer Haas, Annie Harris, Matilda Honig, Betty Cohn Isserman, Ann Katzenstein, Tema Kottman, Marvin Levin, Sylvia Levin, Marion Jacobson Lieberman, Henrietta Berg Lowenstein, Louis Londy, Julius Mannheimer, David Mason, Alice Jane Miller, Louis Monheimer, Hubert P. Moog, Dora Kottman Moss, Anna Mae Nussbaum, Armin Price, Betty Rosenberg, Nathan Rosenberg, Frank Ross, Norman Rubenstein, Sidney Sachs, Rachel Stix Schwab, Albert M. Schwartz, Sarah Levy Shanblum, Ruth Reichman Solomon, Libby Zachick Sonkin, Sam Spiritus, Michael Joseph Steinbaum, Joe Tabachnik, Henry Wagner, Paul Coulter-Weil, Kurt E. Weiss, Edith Newman Weiss, Richard M. Weiss, and Vera Bobby Weiss. So thinking of each of them and of the names that we keep in our hearts, we join together in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba. Ba'alma divrach chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayachon uvyomachon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv emru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach la'alam omei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitzromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzhalal shmei dekudusha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran ba'alma v'emru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emru amen. May the source of peace and peace to those who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. So just a few closing words before we turn to our last song. First, I invite you to look at the various things coming up at Temple Israel. Many Purim-related things. We've got a Hamantash and baking party. We have our Purim Spiel and Carnival. We have Tat Shabbat in 2 weeks. So we hope that you will join us for one of those festivities. Everyone is welcome. Thank you, Rob Aronson, for your beautiful music. And our final song is going to be...
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch, Baruch, Atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, soak it up. Sweet as let honey, it all sink in. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Torah. Sweet as honey, soak it up. Sweet as let honey, it all sink in. Sweet as honey on our words tongue. Of Baruch, Baruch, Atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as let honey, us soak it up. Sweet